Welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win? And this week is Ben Tennyson, the boy who found the magic scientific alien watch that turns him into amazing alien heroes, versus Generator Rex, the nano-infused fighter for truth, justice, and just helping people out from bad situations. Now, I watched a lot of Ben 10. I dig Ben 10 a lot. I didn't watch a lot of Generator Rex, but I watched enough of it to get a gist of it. I also watched that crossover they did, which was really good. I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. So, this is basically Generator Rex, or Rex Salazar, as he's called, versus Ben Tennyson. Now, a couple stipulations. One, I can't use that final Evo form of his, I believe it's called, because I could not find a damn thing about Generator Rex's full Evo form. His final Evo form. So, unfortunately, I cannot include that. And I will not be using his other Evo form because that was only used once as a child, as far as I could find. So, we're not using any of his actual Evo forms. Now, when it comes to Ben's a little tough to do because, first off, you're talking about Ben 10 from, back in the original Ben 10 series. You're talking about Alien Force Ben when he's 15, Ultimate Alien Force, or to me, Ultimate Alien when he's 16, Omniforce where he's 16 to 11. It's very hit and miss. So, with Ben 10, I'm going to be sticking with 3 different primary versions of Ben. I'm going to be sticking with the 10-year-old Ben, 15-year-old Ben from Ultimate Alien Force, and then 16-year-old Ben from Ultimate Alien. I'll also only be using his core 10 aliens in each one, with the exception of a couple of the popular ones like Cannonball and Wildmutt from the original series. But let's start off with Generator Rex. Now, Generator Rex, his full name is Rex Salazar. He's 16 years old. He didn't give a height or weight. I'm going to guess that he weighs about an average. He looks about maybe 5'8" to 5'10". He looks decent height. Probably weighs about the same as I do, maybe a little more, a little less. But he was born to some scientists. He got in an accident and they injected him with nanites to save him. Now he's got nanites infused in his body, as most people in the world do. He's extremely intelligent, being so far as to basically ace a trigonometry test without trying. Capable of manipulating his opponent to his advantage. He pitted 2 opponents of his against each other because they had conflicting interests. He created a voice-identifying tattoo to help him and his friends identify each other, which is interesting. He's quick-witted, but he's also headstrong. He's kind of almost like a Deadpool-esque character, cracking jokes all the while he's fighting. Headstrong, selfless, but kind of doesn't always go for the tactical route all the time. A lot of times he'll charge head in. Now, he's also... And we're talking about all this before really any of the nanites are getting involved or anything like that. Now, when looking this up, there was some conflicting interest on his physical capabilities. He is acrobatic. In fact, he's very acrobatic. He's capable of dodging near point-blank gunfire. He's agile. He's pretty quick. But he's also had some basic hand-to-hand combat training in his in a military camp. Now, here's something that I find very odd, is that without using any nanites or anything like that, he's still physically strong enough to crack concrete by punching it normally. But he can't do physical exercises in a boot camp. He had real trouble doing the push-ups and sit-ups, apparently. So that's conflicting. If I had to say, in my attribute to something with the nanites that, just a straight shot, he's fine with using his strength, but in actual physical workout, without using his machines and things like that, he's not quite as capable as, say, a normal human being would. Which, getting into that, I should say, is that he has nanites bonded throughout his entire basically his entire body on a molecular level. He's capable of communicating with multiple machines. Basically getting them to work for him and things like that. Though he claims he can hear voices, and the voices can overload his head. Therefore, it might be very hard. It can knock him out, basically. So that's an interesting little ability. He's capable of curing Evo sickness in those who are afflicted by this. Not that matters in this fight. can, 1 second, can be, well, I'm just trying to remember what exactly I wrote here. So, he's got his, I'm sorry, I'm stalling. I'm just trying, I was writing this on the fly real quick, but, oh, excuse me, that's what I was about to say. That's what I wrote. Now, his weapons can be destroyed, but will regenerate. It can generate quickly, though. Exhaustion can make that harder, especially in the stress of a fight. Now, he has a multitude of go-to weapons that he creates. He has the Big Fat Sword, or BFS, which is nothing more than a giant-ass sword that he creates. And all these weapons are attached to him, too, because it's formed from his body. The giant-ass sword, like, it looks like it'll be about 10 feet long, give or take. They can easily cut through, like, buildings or, like, cars or something along those lines. He's got his smack hands, which are more or less giant hands, giant fists, and they can also be turned into a drill. His, I should also mention his BF sword can turn into a buzzsaw, which again can cut through almost anything. His drill can be used to help swim when he's underwater, even though the weight of his machines will weigh him down and make him sink. He's got his Punkbuster, which is giant mechanical legs which can jump up 100 feet or over about 10 city square blocks, which is impressive. It can kick with the power of a freight train. He's got the Boogie Pack, I believe it was called, which can fly at high speeds, which is basically got 2 turbines which can act like Ebola and can create a vacuum of air underneath him. He's got the Slam Cannon, which basically is a cannon that basically sucks up whatever's behind him and fires that. If someone, God's sake, was behind them, he would fire that person. And he's got the, was it Rex Ride? I think, or Rex Ride, excuse me, which basically he turns his legs into a motorcycle that levitates and hovers. Travels about 200 miles an hour. It has a battering ram on it that basically acts like a shield. So that's pretty interesting. Now, before going into any other ones, he's survived beyond human G-forces. I think the human body can withstand like up to 300 G-forces before passing out, which means it could probably withstand maybe another G-force before it could kill him. So I'm going to say this guy, Generator Rex, can probably survive. I'm calling him Generator Rex, even though his name's Rex Salazar. Rex can probably survive at least 5 G-forces worth of, at least I'm pretty sure the human body can survive. But basically, he can survive more G-forces than a normal human can. He can survive under the oceans. The pressures are very huge in there. I don't believe he can survive in the vacuum of space, but I think he's at least not on his own. But I think he can survive in a vacuum. I think he's immune to poisons, things like gases and things along those lines do not affect him per se. His nanites also will basically stop him from doing something that would threaten his life, like say, gonna go after this guy. Oh, he's throwing the brute. No, why won't you let me go? Kind of something like that. And he can, if he's got like a tracker on him or something like that, he can the nanites will automatically get rid of it. Now, when he had the Omega nanite put into him, which is like this super nanite, it basically gave him a whole new roster. Well, not a whole new roster, but it gave him new weapons to go to. Now, there's the Blade Caster, which is a backpack dynamo with an electric whip tentacle attached to it, capable of smashing things. He has the Funchucks, which are giant nunchucks that can rotate at super hyper speeds, enough to generate an electric pulse, which you can fire electric bolts from. Very interesting. He's got the Blade Axes, which again are strong enough to slice a jet clean through, no issues. He's got the Block Party, which are metal gauntlets which create energized atom force fields, discs that block with techniques and create a dome. The difference, only downside those is with enough force those will shatter. And then he has the Skysurfer, which is essentially a motorcycle-looking thing that basically flies, kind of like a surfboard, but needs something designed kind of like as a motorcycle. He has unlimited nanites he can create. He also wears enhanced goggles that have thermal vision and microscopic vision. Now then, turning to the next page, he's not invincible. He's actually been defeated. His nanites have been absorbed. He's been left basically powerless multiple times. And despite all what I just said, he's not invincible. He can easily get his ass kicked. So he's powerful, but he's not. At one point, he actually became godlike, but he got rid of that power after a while. We're not using that though. So, yes, General Rex. A very interesting combatant, very powerful. Now, Ben Tennyson. As I said, we're going to be using 3 different versions of Ben. So we'll start with Ben Tennyson when he was 10 years old. Now, Ben 10, he's cocky, arrogant, brash, but he's also selfless and a good-hearted kid. He's not a very strategic individual. He's just charged zen, usually. When he was 10, his favorite aliens were Forearms, Heat Blast, Wildmutt, Diamond Head, and Accelerate. He has a fear of clowns, peacocks, and a peanut allergy. Okay, fine, whatever. Now, that being said, he's still a creative combatant. He can still think outside the box when he needs to, and is very good at adapting to an alien that's not what he was choosing. Speaking of which, the Omnitrix. Let's talk about the Omnitrix real quick. Now, the original one that Ben 10 used was the first Omnitrix. It was basically a prototype. And it's more or less, it's actually not a weapon. It's just it's a genetic code that's basically meant to promote universal peace by doing the whole walk in a person's shoes kind of thing. Now, generally speaking, all of these forms generally timed out after 10 or 20 minutes, but it said that things like battle will cause them to time out faster. It's also what's the best way? It's also prone to timing out at inconvenient times. It's prone to malfunction, kind of. No aliens by accident. In fact, it's usually done by Ben usually hitting it too hard. He's unlocked random features at some points. He once unlocked the master code, which means you didn't have to press the damn thing. All you had to do was think the alien, more or less, and he would turn into it. But we're not including that right now. And yeah, so we're using the base 10 plus 2 extras that became really popular. So Heat Blast, I'm not going to go over their alien names or anything like that. Heat Blast, he's made of a magma, like a living magma. He's super durable, super strong. His primary abilities are Cryokinesis, Heat Blast. He can manipulate lava to a degree. He can use his abilities underwater to a certain level. He's fireproof. He's even cold-proof, more or less. And his flames get to the heat of melting metal and stone, so that's impressive. That being said, weak to water, weak to water to a varying degree. He can survive it, but it's not something he likes to deal with. Forearms, super strong, super durability. Can lift, cars with ease, things along those lines. He can create a sonic clap by clapping his hands, however he's a bit slow on the clumsy side. Diamond Head, again, super durability, heightened strength, pretty damn strong, in fact, and crystal manipulation. He can do crystals, projectiles, just morph his hands into different objects, so summon crystals from the ground, minor regeneration capabilities, but he's weak to sonic sounds, vibrations, things like that will shatter crystals. Ghost Freak, intangibility, invisibility, flight, super strength to a degree, even tentacles, but he wears a secondary skin, and again, we're talking about base form. Secondary skin that's, if that skin were gone, he would be exposed to sunlight and would burn him. He's also capable of possessing other individuals and can use their powers freely. Gray Matter, super intelligent, very flexible, but he's no longer bigger than the size of my hand, so he's not very good for combat. Then we have Ripjaw, who is basically a giant shark fish thing. He's got a heightened strength. He's very agile in the water. He's very quick, very durable. His jaws are his most capable feature. They can open twice as large as his head and clamp down, basically crush wood with heat, like a wooden plank or even some metal with ease. Can't survive very long out of water though. Then we have Upgrade, who is a galvanic mechamorph, basically, or metamorph, something like that. He's an artificial being. He's primarily ability merging with technology. Not so good against AI though. He's not good against AI. He's also capable of creating plasma. Constructs, say a edged, pike or spike, plasma beams he can do. He's capable of traveling through electric currents and manipulating nanotechnology, things along those lines. Well, not nanotechnology, but he's capable of technology. Not so good against cold, not so good against electrical currents, and corrosive acids are very vulnerable. He's very vulnerable to that too. Wildmutt is he's a dog, more or less. He's a really big, strong beast. He has super heightened senses, has an echolocation sense and a radar sense, but he's got basically any vulnerability that any animal like that would have. Accelerates he manipulates kinetic energy, can move up to 500 miles an hour, can create tornadoes, durable for a very lift-looking being he is. Bladed hands make it useful for combat, but he's one of the more fragile ones. Stinkfly can fly, pretty strong, can cut through steel doors with his tail, fires goop from his eyes, which can be either acidic or, just goopy, sticky. Cannonball is a giant tick-looking guy. He basically goes into a cannonball, starts rotating. He can survive a fall from space, more or less, and be perfectly fine in that form. He can bulldoze down steel doors, but he's also clumsy, and, along those lines. He also has no control over where he's going, more or less. Wildmutt is a plant, manipulates plants, regeneration. He's got plant bombs, will do a number of things like sleepy spores, paralysis, even explosions. He's super flexible. He's got heightened agility, strength, but he's not invincible. He's not immune to cold or fire. In fact, those are very vulnerable and can get tangled in his vines. So that's basic Ben. So, and actually, believe it, the beauty of Ben from Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, it's more or less the same Ben, just a year later with a few extra abilities. So, Alien Force Ben, just to go through real quick, has another different set of aliens. So down the list, Humungousaur stands about 15 feet tall, can grow about 60 feet tall, super strength, super durability, height, and can lift someone like Way Big, who we're not getting into Way Big. He's not going to be in core essential in this fight. Can lift Way Big, things like that, super durable. That being said, not immune to electricity, surprisingly. A lot of these are not immune to electricity for some reason. Don't know why electricity is one of their things. But then we got Jet Ray, can fly at hypersonic speeds from planet to planet. Intertell, can survive in a vacuum. Inspires neuroshock blasts. Is super durable for his ability, but can't walk or move correctly and can be hurt by his own neuroshock blasts. Swamp Fire is basically a plant version of a heat blast, but using methane. So he can knock a person out with methane, blast fire, manipulate plants. Has regenerative abilities to a degree, can morph himself through the bars, like say the T-1000 can. But again, not invincible, not immune to cold, not immune to his own fire either, surprisingly. Then we got the Spider Monkey, super agile, shoots webs, things along those lines. Goop, he's basically indestructible goop. His goop can be acidic, it can be just sticky, he can morph himself. He's got a little gravity thing that in that time period, at that point in time, if that thing was gone, he would lose his form, but he would just come back anytime he came back to, working. Echo is a little dude who can duplicate himself, fire sonic blasts, and is a little agile and pretty durable. But he's also, still pretty weak for his size. Brainstorm is a crab that's super intelligent and has electric kinesis, basically. He can shoot electricity from his brain, use it for force fields and moving objects. Big Chill is a somewhat Mothman-looking character who's can basically manipulate ice vapors to freeze things. It can be intangible, can basically freeze something by being intangible and passing through it. Very durable, can fly, super strong, but again, not immune to electricity. I don't know what electricity has to do with a lot of these. Chromastone is essentially like Diamond Head. He's basically this crystal-like being, super durable, can fly for some reason, absorbs energy and then redirects the energy, can fire energy on his own but do it to a lesser degree. But he can't absorb energy, say, through electricity through water induction and things like that. And there's a limit to how much he can absorb. Then there's Alien X, who's eventually God. Reality, time, and space manipulation of the yin-yang. The only problem is that the celestial sapien, as they called, have two inner minds. They have one that's peace and reason, one that's anger, and they're always in constant debate on what to do. That's why they almost never move. Basically, they have to make a decision. They're in constant debate most of the time. When a user is in there, they create the third party, and then other things can start happening, possibly. So that, as powerful it is, it's not a very key option to use. Now, Ultimate Alien is basically a couple of these forms get an upgrade, including Cannonball, but we're not going to get to Cannonball or Wildmutt for that because we're sticking with the core 10. Actually, we use those just because they are a function. Ultimate Cannonball basically gets metal spikes, more or less, and is more durable. Ultimate Wildmutt basically can talk and is bigger and can fire spikes. Ultimate Swamp Fire is blue, has basically hotter flames because they're blue, can fire super concentrated blasts, has seed bombs, is more durable, but he can't regenerate, more or less. Ultimate Humungousaur cannot grow, But he's about 20 feet tall, more durable, has like an iron shell on his back, and he fires bone missiles from his hands, which is quite interesting. And then Ultimate Spider Monkey is essentially a gorilla, which has spider legs, is more webs, and can survive a nuclear blast. As can, I should also note, Ultimate Echo Echo, I forgot. Fires sonic discs, create sonic force fields, and sonic containment blasts, which are strong enough to contain him in a nuclear blast. Oh boy, okay. So, at nearly the 20-minute mark, let's talk briefly about how this fight will go down. We'll do Young Ben first. Young Ben's probably going to get his ass kicked by Generator Rex about almost 90% of the time, because he's too brash as opposed to Rex, who, while brash at points, is still a calculated fighter and knows how to use an opponent's weakness against him. Even if you were to run down every alien he has, no alien really can match Generator Rex, at least in terms of the way Young Ben uses it. The core one he'd probably go for right off the bat is Forearms, who might be strong and could deal some damage, but Rex's fists can easily match Way Big. So we know Way Big Forearms. Or if he goes to Heat Blast, Rex could easily just be like, okay, immune to heat, whatever. Just creating a shield and then just blast him with a cannon. Accelerate. Accelerate he could easily get around, but overall, Accelerate's just not strong enough to do any damage to him. Let's not forget, now Diamond has an interesting little combatant in that way. And again, these are the top 5 that he always used. Diamond Head's is versatile enough that he could actually probably hurt Rex. His diamond form could easily pierce him and things along those lines, and he's durable enough to take some hits. But I don't know if he's strong enough. I would not say he's strong enough to outlast him enough to beat him, because again the Omnitrix will just time out, and there's too much of a wait period for Ben to really wait for another alien, more or less, unless he's really struggling with the watch. And again, Diamond Head's an interesting one. Diamond Head might be able to maybe encase him, or maybe if he knows he's about to lose, and try to encase Rex in some crystal for a little bit, and wait around a bit to start get the watch to time back in. But just those 5 ones he goes for, they're not going to do anything. Ghost Freak can avoid his attacks, but he's not strong enough to do anything. Cannonball could maybe just hit him around, but it's not going to do anything, unfortunately. Gray Matter is smart enough to maybe understand what's happening with Rex, but I don't think he can't really do anything because it's nanotechnology. The only one who stands a real solid chance, now again, Ripjaw and Stinkfly and Dang aren't going to really do anything. Stinkfly's the slime might be a little acidic, but it's not going to hurt him that much. Upgrade's the only one who actually stands any sort of real chance, but even then, he can't possess AI. The only way I could see that working is if he maybe attached himself into one of Rex's equipment, goes back and attaches himself to Rex, and then maybe catches himself in his face and blows a plasma blast in his face. And even then, I don't know if that would defeat Rex or kill Rex. I think that just might incapacitate him enough. Wildvine could possibly take a good shot. I mean, he's capable of regenerating. He's got bombs and everything, but I think Rex is just too powerful for Young Ben to do any real sort of damage against. Young Ben, I think, loses about 95% of that time. And that's just because he's not very smart. Okay, he's not to say so. He's actually more intelligent than you think. Actually, Ben's actually, I'm proud to say, actually a very talented combatant. In fact, he ranked about 9, I think he got like a 95 out of 100 in a test when training for the plumbers. But that's older Ben. Older Ben's actually a really good hand-to-hand fighter. So, but Young Ben, Sumer Slammers, no, I'm sorry, Ben. Young Ben's going to lose pretty much most of the time. Older Ben, on the other hand, is a very different story. They actually Older Ben and him met up originally, and it was actually a very even fight between the two of them. Humungousaur is very, and there's also a difference between how the Omnitrix worked in Alien Force and Ultimate Alien. The Omnitrix didn't actually, it timed out still, but Ben could actually rotate from one alien to another more quickly. In fact, he could go through a couple aliens at a time. And then, the Omnitrix would time out. But the Omnitrix would also recharge quicker in Alien Force, if I remember correctly, to stay with all the aliens. So it'd be much easier. It'd be a much more prolonged fight. Ben's also much smarter at this point, knowing how to utilize his aliens. he would probably see something along the lines of Rex and try to go with something that would try to take on. And I mean, he'd probably still try to use something like Humungousaur first off, or maybe Swamp Fire. Neither of them would. Well, Humungousaur would probably be a good matchup. They'd go back and forth, be pretty strong, be a good fight. Heat Blast. Swamp Fire would not be very good. Goop would actually be a problem for him because Goop can be extremely acidic, melting things down to nothing. And then he hits Goop, just starts melting it. Now, granted, Rex can easily regenerate that, but still, the point remains. Now, most of Rex's weapons would not be able to hurt Goop. Even if he hit the anti-gravity thing, Ben would just train his back. Jet Ray is pretty durable. In fact, Jet Ray can fly at hypersonic speeds, easily counteracting Rex or Rex's abilities to try to hit him. Then the Neuroshock would be an interesting little thing to go against. Brainstorm could easily electrify his nanites to a degree, because I believe Rex does have some weakness to electricity. As for a couple of the other ones, Spider Monkey would not be a big issue. Echo would actually probably really mess him up with the sonic vibrations. Simply because I'm not sure how his nanites handle against sonic attacks. And then we go into something along the lines of Big Chill. I think, in fact, Big Chill actually made an appearance in that crossover. I can't remember how that fight went. I think it was basically they didn't really fight. He just escaped and just threw a point. That could pose a problem, especially with the intangibility freezing technique. That would be a very big. I think that would be a very big problem for him. Especially again, intangibility and freezing his insides would definitely not be good. But Alien X would be the real trump factor because let's be clear, if this is the first time fight, he might be. Alien X is just too risky of a one to use. But if he does use it, he'd probably get one attack off. Because he did when he first used the form, and then he'd be stuck in debate. But Rex wouldn't be able to do a damn thing against Alien X because he's just too durable. He's really freaking durable, in fact. And that being said, whatever that one thing is, it could easily just lay Rex out. That Alien X is a really big trump card. Then we go into the Ultimate Alien when we go into the Ultimate forms. Ultimate Cannonball, again, not a big issue. Ultimate Wildmutt, not a big issue, even though Ben would know how to use it better. Ultimate Swamp Fire would be an interesting story. Ultimate Swamp Fire, the heat is far more concentrated, and then the bombs are also far more powerful. That could be a bit of a problem with Rex. Humungousaur definitely could throw him around for a bit. Echo, very powerful, easily capable of sonic disc that can maybe slice off like a limb or something like that. And Ultimate Spider Monkey, the webbing is supposedly even stronger than steel at that point. His normal webbing is as strong as steel, so that could pose a problem to Rex. Now, overall, I said young Ben loses 95% of the time, and I still stick with that. Older Ben's a far better. Also, older Ben is a far more capable fighter than Rex. Rex is a very go-with-the-flow kind of fighter. Ben's actually a decent hand-in-hand fighter. He really is. That was even said by his grandfather. So I think he's actually got a combat advantage over Rex. That being said, his actual roster is even new roster was stronger than his old roster, I thought. I think. Oh, and Ultimate Heat Blast. I forgot Ultimate Heat Blast. Oh no, Ultimate Big Chill creates freezing flames. Ultimate Big Chill would be a very bad combatant for Rex to go. All he's got to do is basically and Rex would just think, fire, I can take it, and then, frozen, and then, Humungousaur, boom, down for the count. But, that being said, Rex's arsenal is very impressive, but nothing overly major that Ben hasn't encountered before. So Ben goes up against guys like that all the time, more or less, with just these weird abilities and things like that. So does Rex. But the difference between the two of them is that Ben's, I think, got the more versatile arsenal to combat that. And enough different versatility in terms of firepower to, I think, put down Rex. Again, let's be clear. In these fights, it's not about if they kill each other. It's just about who's going to win. And I think in the long term, Ben is going to beat Rex. Just because of, Rex will outlast Ben's alien forms in the long run, but older Ben's forms last longer, and he can rotate through them quicker. So it's really interesting. I'm going to have to give it to Ben, but it's going to be a close match. I'm going to have to say 60% older Ben and 40% Generator Rex. And I say 60%, a lot of that goes to the Alien X factor, if he's able to get that, say, one technique off, or maybe if he's even able to persuade them. Because originally he wasn't able to persuade them, really, though he was able to persuade them to get his body back. Second time he used it, it didn't go well. He was able to get out of that form. Now, going into later series Omniverse, he was able to actually gain control of the form. But we're not using Omniverse in this. But it's entirely possible that he could easily persuade them and say, hey, this guy's going to destroy our body, because they're durable, but I don't know if Celestial Sapien is indestructible. I don't think they are. In fact, I think they could be killed. He could easily say, it's like, I vote for us not to die, so we need to beat this guy, and then we can argue all we want. That's actually all he'd have to say, really. So, honestly, yeah, that's actually not... I have to take that back. If that's the case, because that's an easy argument to put against them for self-preservation, Ben's going to win about 90% of the time. It's about 90% of the time for Ben at that point, especially with Alien X on his side. But again, there's no guarantee on that, but it's a very good argument you can make for the self-preservation to, do that. So, again, young Ben loses 90% of the time. Alien Force Ben wins 90% of the time, and Ultimate Alien Ben wins 90% of the time. So, overall, Ben's going to win this 2 out of 3 times. But, that being said, if you're talking about young Ben loses. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This got to be longer than I intended, but I had a lot of stuff to go through. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review at some point. So, tomorrow's going to be Man from Uncle. Me and Mark are going to catch that. It'll just be me, though. But, But Mark's got a lot on his plate. He's going for his CDL license, so good luck for him. And I'll, be back with movie news and things like that when that pops up. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.